Hey, here we are, Cairo Mafia. I am with the mafioso of all mafioso doms.
I thought Fred was.
No, man, not me.
No,
I am
okay.
your older brother, though, but
Yes.
you. Well,
Significantly older brother.
my little brother's
Significantly.
kicking my ass. That's how that happened. Oh,
Significantly older
yeah,
brother.
little
What are you,
brothers grow up.
65?
Yeah. Hey. What
64?
for?
64. Yeah, I'm
Like it's
60.
really gonna
4
matter,
years
man.
is a long time.
Yeah, I stopped counting a long time ago, man. I'm
60. I
like
mean, if you think about
60.
it, if I'm zero, if I'm one, not even a day old, and you're a 4-year old, that's a big difference right there, you know?
It is. Oops, I dropped you on your head. Sorry. Mom, can I pick up the baby boy? Oops. Just don't shave
It-
your head. They'll
It's
find that
Italian
black
family.
spot.
It's wood and spoon damage.
Oh, yeah. No kidding, man. Until the
Remember George
Wolverine
Bush when
breaks.
he was in like George Bush was in the Middle East and somebody threw a shoe at him and he ducked it like that. I was like, damn, that's pretty good right there. Because I used to do that shit a lot.
Oh, yeah. That's childhood, man. That's
That was
childhood
really
stuff.
good. Guy threw a shoe at him and he ducked it. I was like, damn, Georgie still got some reflexes there. He
Yeah,
had a
he
kid.
does.
That
That's
was fun.
childhood trauma right there.
That's right, baby. You know, Barbara Bush was throwing shoes at him or something.
Yeah, she was. So what we figured out is we go through probably one of the most common problems
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we're handling with doctors, and once you handle this, you will break records.
yeah.
Absolutely, and that is the stat you should be keeping, which is percent kept appointments. Now, again, like before we started, say what do most people track? Percent missed. Well, if you get what you focus on and you're tracking percent missed, whatever you focus on grows, right?
Right,
So that's a problem. So why don't
right,
we
right,
track percent kept?
right.
And in Elite, we track 5 numbers that build the culture, and that's getting 90% of your patients or more into lifestyle, affecting generations, building a legacy, generational legacy, not just practice.
Yeah,
So the thing is, percent in Elite, percent kept appointments reflects the mindset of the average person in your clinic, how they value the adjustment. What's the meaning of the adjustment? So, hey, if you got, a lot of people when they first join Elite, hardly anybody tracks percent kept appointments. That's what I find with a lot of people that join Elite, right? And so when they first fill out that intention sheet, they're in the low 80s, upper 70s. Because why? Because a lot of chiropractors are like, hey, man, I'm just glad you showed up. And, if you miss today, then you come on Wednesday. But what's the problem? Now, we look at posture and spinal correction, and I mean, you're evaluating subluxations, right? So when
right,
someone comes in subluxated, man, their spine's not stable. And if
right,
they're subluxated, the reason you even adjust the spine is because that spinal cord's your lifeline. It's
correct.
energy, right? So if you're looking at people's health problems, and today, I mean, it's pretty easy to pull out 18 to 22 health problems out of the average person. I mean, the average person's way sicker today. And then you look at, okay, what's healthcare? Healthcare is you have a problem, you go to a doctor and they fix it. So if you're selling chiropractic, if you're selling the spinal adjustment without the principle, then a person is subjectively deciding, do I need an adjustment today?
Correct.
And that's going to be your percent kept appointment. So, you know what? I'm busy, doc, my kids, blah, blah, blah. It's Monday. Man, I just want to get home on Friday. And
Correct.
what they're missing is when a person's coming 3 times a week, why do they come 3 times a week? Because your spinal structure isn't stable enough and your spinal cord doesn't work normally on its own because you
Correct.
freaking spent the first 46 years of your life subluxated. You have an unstable structure that's shutting down the life in your body. So
Correct.
if you don't come every other week, so what's the meaning, even in spinal correction? We're jump starting your nervous system, we're jump starting the healing in your body to keep you in a healing state long enough to correct the subluxations in your spine. So one day your spinal cord can work normally on its own and deliver 100% energy like a fire hose to keep you healthy.
Yes, exactly.
So what I used to tell people, this made such a big change. And I didn't see the volume like what I saw all day. You saw the first, 2.5 hours in the morning. But I remember being, over 200 a day with 100% kept appointments.
Yeah.
I had 3 days. I figured this system out they teach now the last 3 to 4 years. And I had 3 days with 100% kept appointments. We had lots of days, 95% kept appointments. We were well into the 90s. But that's why you hit those record-breaking days.
Right.
So, but what I used to tell them, that's what I used to tell them. Look, your spinal cord doesn't work normally on its own. You come here 3 times a week so I can move, so we can adjust your spine, take stress off spinal cord, turn your spinal cord into a fire hose of healing energy so you can heal of disease. And I'd
Exactly.
say, do you want to come here 3 times a week for the rest of your life and be dependent on me to move your spine for you to be healthy? And everybody will go, hell no. And I'm like, hey, what's wrong with that? No, but I'd say, hell no. I go, I don't want you to either. I want your spinal cord to work normally on its own.
Yes.
And I'll say one more thing. So when your spine subluxates, it's like a dead battery in your car. So now I got to get up at 5 in the morning, go to the gym, jumpstart your car. Then I got to come out of the gym, jumpstart your car. Then I got to go to my office, jumpstart your car. Then I got to go out to lunch, jumpstart my car. Then I got to go to the grocery store, jumpstart my car. Right? That's your spine. That's your spine. That's the energy in your body. Why don't you just get a new fucking battery?
Right.
Correct your spine and let your spinal cord work normally on its own, or you're going to be in the state of disease. How do you want to live?
Exactly.
So anyway, there you go.
Yes, exactly. There's a few places to go. First off, I think a lot of people, what you're saying is tracking it. So first off, a lot of people don't even track it. So
Right.
first,
Yeah.
first
Step
you got to
one.
track. Second problem, and I know you've run into this too, Fred. You walk into somebody's practice as the consultant, right? So I'm going to give you an objective overview. And what I saw in a lot of offices, I'm just picking a number, whether it's 100 a week or 100 a day,
Yeah.
right? Or 100 in the morning. They'll say, well, we had 100 scheduled and we had 100 come in. Okay. But then you look and you realize, well, 30 people that were on the schedule didn't show up. And then you had 30 walk-ins, right? So you had 70 of the 100 actually come in, and then you had 30 walk-ins. So you're like, well, we had 100 on the schedule, we had 100 come in. So hey, we did pretty good. And what you're not realizing is you're not owning their schedule. You're not honoring their schedule. You're not honoring them. You're not honoring their care. You're looking at the wrong number. So when Fred talks about scheduled, so we're all saying the same thing. First and foremost, we're talking about the people that are on the schedule.
It doesn't include walk-ins.
Right. It does not include the total number seen that day. Now, conversely, same topic, maybe I got 100 scheduled, and just make math easy. 100 came in, I got 100% that showed, and then I had 20 or 30 walk in, right? So now I got 130. That's still not good either, because what it shows is that you're not honoring, they're not honoring, you're not scheduling people. This idea that I love what Fred said, they're driving home and they're thinking, hey, could I, should I, would I, what do I feel like, whatever. That's why I'm so anti app where they can adjust their own schedule on the app. It's the worst thing ever.
Absolutely
horrific, and it unintentionally gives them the power to make the decision, and you're not realizing the detrimental effects. It's convenient, but it's convenient in the wrong way. So the other aspect is, if I have 100 on the books, I want 100 coming in that day, other than maybe, hey, I hope you had 5 new ones that day too. All right, 105, the 5 were new ones. But outside of that, that's the number that we're talking about. Number two, when they don't show up and you say nothing, like Fred, you heard Fred, and you could hear it in his tone. He was like, part of it was sarcasm, part of it, hey, you want to come in 3 times? You could hear it in his passion, like, hey, it's stability of the spine and the cord. And you hear that. What you're hearing is there's value, necessity, requirement to honoring their care,
Accountability and responsibility.
Right. There's value for the adjustment, each adjustment, right? So that's critical. So my point in identifying that is, if I walk in as the patient to Fred's office and no one says anything, no one recognizes that I missed, not that you got to reprimand him and yell at him, but if I don't even say anything, now what I'm doing is I'm almost incentivizing unintentionally their fact that they're missing. So they're going to be like, well, no one said anything. Shit, I go in there, I walk in and out a few times. No one really, I couldn't make it for the last 2 weeks, right? No one really said anything, and immediately causes them to self-sabotage. So then they're thinking, well, geez, it's been a couple of weeks since I've been in. You didn't elevate the value and the significance. They're focusing in on the presence or absence of symptomatology. Their transactional value is whether I hurt or not. And guess what happens? Hey, doc, I haven't been in 3 weeks. Life got in the way. I feel pretty good. You think I could start spacing my care out, or do you think I could drop? Or they decide themselves to drop, right? Because you're not redirecting them. Rule number one, they never, ever, ever get it. It's rule number one. They're never going to get it. They're only going to default to what they've known since they were a baby, which is I go to the doctor when I hurt. So they're always going to default to that thinking. Rule number two, knowing they don't get it, your job is to always get them to get it. Rule number three, you earn the right to be their chiropractor next time, this time. So a great way to minimize the missed and start calculating how many showed is to make sure you give them a reason to show up next time, this time. So it's not always about chasing after the ones that missed. It's, hey, Fred, great adjustment. That area was crooked, right? It's segment organ function that affected this, this, and this. We really got to stay on that. That's critical. I'm not chasing symptoms at all. I'm always talking about the subluxation, how it affects the physiology, why it's important, grading the adjustment, giving them a powerful way to say goodbye. Power's on, you're straighter, healthier. We'll keep you straight. See you next Wednesday. Now, you empower them to show up. There's value the next time. If I'm running a chemotherapy clinic, they are not going to chiropractic consulting and going, hey, doc, what's your missed chemotherapy appointment script? What do we say to them on their missed chemo? They're not doing that, right? Why? Because there's so much value in their mindset to the need of that so-called treatment. They would never miss it. They're freaking out if they don't miss it, right? But in our case, we have to elevate. I understand 𝐾𝐨, but we have to elevate what we do, like Fred was doing. Just, you could see it with his tone, with his attitude. We have to elevate that to the degree while they're there and have a conversation when they missed in order to keep them there. Because the missed, you guys know side door, back door. Side door is missed, back doors drop out, drop off. Once they start missing and you say nothing, it's a loss of transactional value. As soon as I run into that, they then drop off or they drop out. And the biggest problem with most practices, and I'll ask you this question, if you could have every single person that walked in your office as an active practice member coming in weekly or biweekly for the rest of their life, you had 100% retention and nobody dropped off. Most offices, if you've been around for a little bit, within a year, 2 years, you don't need another patient. You never need anyone else. So just take it from that standpoint. Most offices, new ones are filling the holes left. That's why you bring in 350 new ones a year and you're still seeing the same number. You're not focusing on retention. A big part of it. So when Fred says, hey, look, this is going to explode your practice, a huge part of growing your practice is retention. Retention starts at the table. It gives them value once they're already committed. And also when they miss, you have to have a conversation or they're not coming back. Transactional value drops. And now you've got a hole that's going to be started over. Now you got to start over with a new one. to try to fill that hole in order to sustain the numbers that you're seeing?
Well, you said about 15 things that as you're sitting there going, I'm like, yep, yep, yep. One, if you have a transactional practice, that's the problem. You don't have a practice where they're investing in the health for the rest of their life, for their family and generations to come.
They're investing in the treatment that day to make sure they feel better. That's the challenge, right?
Right, which is why we don't pay as they go. Next thing,
Right.
accountability and responsibility. What Joe said, like if you don't say anything, so one thing that made a big difference is, we talk about mindset. The percent kept appointments is the mindset. Lifestyle is a mindset. Transactional is a mindset. So when they miss on Monday, the problem is there's no consequence. So they come on Wednesday. Now, if their last adjustment was on Friday, they're coming 3 times a week. By Sunday, Saturday night, they're subluxated. And they miss on Monday and they don't come until Wednesday. That means they've spent Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And if they come at night on Wednesday, they spent 4 out of 7 days in the state of disease.
Exactly.
So now you have a patient that is sicker more than they are healthy. Well, my patient
Exactly.
for how long? And so that's the problem. And that's what they don't understand.
Exactly.
I would tell them, one, don't change the day. Change the time, but not the day. If you change the day, you affect your progress because you're healing progress because you're another 24 hours in the state of disease. Now, when they understand that, that becomes equivalent to the chemo patient. If they don't go to chemo, cancer spreads. If they don't make their adjustment, they're subluxated, they're in the state, their body is breaking down.
Exactly.
And now let's say they miss Monday, they come on Wednesday. Now they got to come Wednesday, Thursday just to catch up, get their body in the healing state that they were last Friday. You didn't make any progress.
Exactly.
They think, well, I came 2 out of 3 times. That's
Exactly.
because you didn't create the meaning. And
Right.
then you better know. So one of the things we do, we print out a schedule. You should know everybody that's going to be in that hour.
Right.
So if someone doesn't show up, you better figure out why. Well, my boss flew into town. There's no way I can make it. I can't make it today. We got this all of a sudden meeting, blah, 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 I'll be in tomorrow. I got a flat tire in the middle of rush hour. AAA is going to take an hour to get here, blah, blah, blah. So when they come in the next day, they got to make it up within 24 hours is the second thing. Then you go, dude, they walk in. Hey, man, it's Tuesday. First of all, if they're not apologizing, Dr. Fred, I'm sorry, man. I blew my tire out, dude, right in the middle of traffic. I was an hour away. AAA, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I know, I heard. That's the exception, not the rule, right? Absolutely. Okay, let's get
Exactly.
back on track.
Exactly.
Hey, I heard your tire blew out. And they're going to be like, how do you know? Because I was expecting you at 5:32 on Monday. Dude, this is what we're working on, what you said. What do you expect to see next time? Yeah, man,
Exactly.
it's that freaking atlas that keeps blowing your immune system out, right? We wanted to see how that was holding over the weekend. Yeah, my tire blew out. It's accountability, responsibility. If you don't know, you don't care. You
Yes.
have to care more. And if you
Yes.
don't accept that accountability and responsibility, how will they? The next thing is you talk about 30 people walking in. Well, when they're not on the schedule, those are the middle of the night at 2:30 a.m. when you wake up thinking of somebody, oh my God, where's Jimmy? Why? Because you have no one to recall.
Right.
So a person that's not on the schedule, what's their mindset? I either come in when I'm in pain, they've been with you for a while and they come in when they're in pain, or they have a convenience mindset. You know what, doc? I'll call you on Wednesday. I'm not sure of my schedule. So that's convenience. Well, let me see when I can fit it in. One day it's not going to be convenient, and that's when they quit.
Yes.
So healing happens in a rhythm. And so, right in the first week at the workshop, first of all, well, I'm not teaching a workshop, problem number one. Secondly, I would tell them healing happens in a rhythm. These are the days you come in, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever it is, why it's well spaced for the week, blah, blah, blah. And pick a time that you can come consistently. So they work it in their schedule. It's 6 months. I mean, 3 times a week. How long are they in 3 times a week in your office? Even if they were there for a year, I mean, we can reverse 46 years of damage in 9 months. So you can live the next 50 years in health with chiropractic as your lifestyle. Well,
Right.
that's a long time. To reverse 46 years of damage, that sounds like a freaking miracle to me.
Exactly. How often you go to the gym? I mean, that's, you're going to the gym 3 or 4 days a week, and you would do that forever. You would never say, like, boy, I'll tell you what, man, I'm in perfect shape. I'm doing great. Love how I look, love how I feel. Thank God I don't need to keep doing that anymore. Oh, I'm finally done with the gym. I can eat what I want now. I can eat the junk. I don't have to worry about nothing. Like nobody thinks that's normal. So why would you think that you don't need to be here 2 or 3, like 3 times a week for a year to be direct is probably what most people need anyway. I mean, really, they need you when you read, a lot of the guys like Dan Murray, but Murphy, but when you talk to some of the other guys, they talk about those chiropractic miracles we had way back when. I mean, what causes subluxation? We don't have all those toxins. We didn't have all those toxins back in the, mid 1800s. Now we're dealing with the chemical bombardment of level of toxicity, the emotional bombardment of stress and anxiety, right? And the physicality of how we live our life. And we don't walk, we don't live in tune with nature. We're sitting in front of computers, right? We're on our cell phones all the time. They didn't have 60-mile-an-hour cars back, horses back then. So if you got in a horse and buggy accident, it was probably doing about 8 miles an hour. Right now, you got an airbag. So you think about all the stuff that our body endures and how critical it is and how damaged we are by the time we're 20, 30, 40 years old or older. So yeah, I mean, the idea that, I remember that show, Name That Tune.
Yeah.
And they used to give you like the least amount of notes and then you would win. And I found, and I don't know where that happened, Fred, but somewhere in a portion of the profession, it got down to name that adjustment. Like, in my head, it was like, oh, I could fix that subluxation in 8 adjustments. Well, I can fix it in 2, well, I can fix it in 1. Well, name that subluxation. It's like, that's ridiculous. What are we basing it on? We're basing it on symptomatology outcome. Boom. Hey, you know what? Just my sciatica is better. You got me that one time. I feel better. I don't need care. Well, really? I could give you a pill and get rid of the angina. You're still 98% plugged, ready to drop dead of a heart attack. Have I really done you a service? So we really, the idea of understanding what a subluxation is, having that conversation. Remember, you're a leader, which means you're going to take where they are and lead them to a place that they are not, and you're going to have to nudge them because they're children forever because they never get it. And if you embody that through the protocols and procedures that Fred and I teach you, along with the mindset, you're going to lead more of them to that journey. The minute you cave, the minute you accommodate, the minute you start talking symptoms, the minute you start basically absorbing where their head's at, the minute you start trying to limit their care into a treatment rather than care, you're screwed. You will ruin the relationship. You will ruin the practice. Your retention is going to go down the crap. And the minute you do that, now all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, how many new ones? Where is everybody? Why isn't everybody sticking with care? Why do I have 80 on the schedule and 30 are showing up? And if you're there now, love you, start adopting some of what we're teaching you. That's the only way you're going to save it. It's the only way you're going to reverse it.
It's all about healing, man. I gave this 5-day event. It was called Disrupt Healthcare, create a chiropractic lifestyle revolution. And we talked about this on the last podcast that you guys will get. And it's really, we modeled after, the principles that we teach you are modeled after people that disrupted industries.
Yes.
Tony Robbins, like people don't buy products or services, they buy identity. Like that's one thing.
Yes.
Chiropractic can be a product or service. Like Joe never, he may, I think you probably look at it this way, whether or not you thought of it this way. We never sold chiropractic. We sold the principle. And the adjustment is how you heal, is how you reach your God-given potential.
Right.
And then Elon Musk, align your business with the physics of the universe. So he looks at how does how does the physics of the universe work? And if I create a business that aligns with that, it's going to freaking change the world,
Right.
right? That's chiropractic principle.
Yes.
Steve Jobs, become a great storyteller.
Yes.
That's Joe. So we align with the principles of people that have created the world that we live in. So the stuff we're telling you is truth. You got to advance the meaning. It's not moving the bone. It's
Yeah.
moving the bone. Why? To free up the spinal cord, man. To
Right.
free up
Exactly.
energy in your body and keep you in a healing state. And if they're
Exactly.
subluxated, you're not healing. And
Right.
if the structure isn't right, it's only temporary
Correct.
because that's why
That's
you're subluxated. It just goes back.
that's it. They're like, part of it is getting your head around that, and this is why we do calls, right? To lead other people in our profession, right? So it's not a reprimand. It's not to talk down to anybody. Try to get your head fuel. I would say be bigger than your excuses. Your vision, your mission, your purpose has to, because we all got excuses. I don't feel like it. I'm tired. I've been doing this a long time. Edge money. I want to spend time with my family. It's a beautiful day. I want to get the hell out of here and do something. Maybe their attitude is time, money, effort, kids, got to go to the softball game, whatever. Like we all have those things pulling at us. I don't care who you are, you have those things pulling at you. But when your vision, your mission, your purpose, and I don't say those words lightly, like Fred started off this conversation, like, why are they there? Why do they think they're there? Right?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Like,
Right.
why does Joe think he's there? If Joe thinks he's there because I hurt and I want to get out of it, and that's the only thinking that he's there, man, you got your work cut out for you. You got to start leading him because Joe's leaving. He's going to get better. He's going to leave. He's not going to get better. Leave. He's going to feel a little worse. He's going to leave. No matter what you do, he's leaving. If his thinking is, I'm only there to get out of pain. So you have to be bigger than your excuses. You have to have a purpose bigger than the reason that you would not do it. And once you're there, then you realize, well, these people are sick. They're diseased. I posted yesterday a subluxated baby grows up into a sick, diseased, subluxated adult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't get better. It only gets worse. So if you really own that and honor that, that's where you want to put your energy into it, because then it's like, I don't mind having, I don't even want to call it a difficult conversation, but now I don't mind having the necessary conversation with Fred. Like, hey, Fred, listen, come on in here. I noticed I was concerned. I noticed you missed your care. I noticed you missed your adjustment. I noticed you missed something. Like, now it's easier to have that conversation, even if it's uncomfortable for you, because why? Your purpose is bigger than, I want to avoid the uncomfortableness of the conversation, right? And sometimes we think if I have the conversation, they're going to leave. How about if you have the conversation and not only do they stay, but they're like, damn it, you know what, Doc? I love your passion. I got to get my family in here. Like, we're
Absolutely.
worried that they're going to leave. Holy cow, you might shift them because they needed to hear that to where they're bringing their mom, their dad, their husband, their daughter, their kids, all, their cousins. All of a sudden they become your biggest fan because you held them accountable. Like, we got to get straight with that. We got to get to understanding the severity of subluxation, how it interferes with their body's healing, how it interferes with the flow. Once you realize that and you realize they're not here, that means they're getting sicker. And if it's somebody I love and care about, how can you not have the conversation about getting them in to get care?
Yeah, well, I have a really easy way that if you guys you might want to write this down, but this is how I help elite clients. Go get family referrals today and help people get it. And I'm going to use the Joe Borio preface to almost every patient communication. Let me ask you a question. Actually, I'm going to ask you a few questions. So you go to your patients, even on the day you're busy, and you say, "Hey, before you came
That's the
here,
lie. Let me ask you a question. It's really a question.
yeah, eight." It sounds like a question, but it's really eight questions, right? So you go, "Hey, if Joe was my patient, you go, hey, Joe, before you came here, you didn't know your
Yeah,
spinal cord was your
yeah,
lifeline, and you didn't know your spinal
no,
structure determined how that spinal cord carries life and healing energy to your body. Nobody
I didn't
told
even
you
think
that.
of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no other doctors, your pain-based chiropractors didn't tell you, your MDs didn't tell you. They just gave you some drugs,
Right.
right? So now that they didn't tell them, what are you doing? You're transferring trust. And that's why when you come here, dude, your asthma is 60% better. You notice your body's healing. Look at all
Yes.
that energy that's been trapped in your body. Nobody told you. We're releasing it with every adjustment. Every adjustment, more healing energy gets into your body, gives you a younger, healthier, stronger body and life because that spinal cord is your lifeline. Would you
Yes.
agree? They
Yes.
have to agree. The three most important words there were would you agree? Because you can say all that and they could blow right by them.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Would
Yeah.
you agree? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I can. I'd say, just curious, when you go home to your wife and three kids, which one of those have a spinal cord that's determining their health and life?
Yeah, exactly.
Which one of those? And they're going to go, okay, I get what you're saying. Really? Because I've talked to you about this before. Do you really? Which one of those have a spinal cord that's determining their health and life?
Yes,
By the
exactly.
way, you're the man of the family. Aren't you primarily responsible for protecting the health and success of your family?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So who do you want to start with?
Yeah. Does that work in California?
Absolutely.
It does. Man of the family, that whole thing. Nobody like flips out. I'm just
They go, well,
fucking.
not really. I wear the pants, but you like this pair that my wife told me I should wear? I wanted to wear the other ones, but she insisted on these blue ones. Choose my battles, Doc.
I just do this. I take my phone, I pretend it's a remote control. I go, where's the mute button on this? When she starts talking, where's the mute
Really?
button? It's not working. It's not working.
Yeah.
And then I got to do the dive. I got to do the slip because something's coming at
The
me.
shoes coming at you. Yeah, but that's well versed with your dad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's wired in you.
We used to get cracked. I sat right next to my father at the dinner table. You know, everyone had their seat, right? And I was right next to my dad. And he had that left hand he kept down low. And he'd give me a smack like right over here, you know, periodically, you know, for doing, sometimes I felt it was doing nothing, but I should have been doing something, right? Other time I'd be a wise guy and make some crack, or more often than not, it would be a face, you know.
Yeah.
What's the, oh, Dad, what? What's the deal with the face? What's the face? What are you saying?
That's like
Oh.
on John Travolta on Saturday Night Fever, where he gets smacked in the back. Hey, my hair.
I don't think I ever said my hair. I literally listen, you know we talked about this before. Like sometimes kids would be afraid of their parents, or they'd say, I was afraid my dad would kill me, like kind of as a like our parents would kill us. Like literally you'd be
Oh yeah,
dead.
I definitely feared I might die. Like if I ever
Would have been
stole my
dead.
dad's car, I would die.
Exactly.
There's no way. Like my friends would steal their parents' car. I'm like, no way, dude. There's no
No
way.
way.
Uh,
You're gonna die.
oh yeah, no, seriously. And not that he wanted to kill me. He just might get carried away and it might. It's not
And
like
they
he
wouldn't
did
even
it
arrest you back
intentionally.
then. The cop would go, "Hey, what happened? Where's Joey? He's out in the backyard. They buried him. What happened? He took the car." Oh, yeah, I get it. All right,
Yeah, I know.
guys, have a good night. Now, see you later.
Yeah, I know. That's East Coast when we were growing.
That's the way it was back then. Now you got kids calling. You got kids calling their parents on child protective services because their mom won't let them watch TV or eat ice cream or
Oh,
something.
I know.
Oh,
So
oh, what?
anyway, coming full circle before we got
It's
carried
because
away.
we're all subluxated. That's why the logic of the brain is gone. It's a disease of the mind. Holy crap.
So the questions I gave you are also to how to communicate the principle. Hey, Joe, did you know this? Chiropractic, your spinal cord is your lifeline, right?
Correct.
Nobody told you. That's what's different about your life now. That's why you're healing.
Yes.
So we replace the word
Yes.
feeling with the word
Yes.
healing.
Healing.
Not how are
Yes.
you feeling today? So let's see how
Correct.
you're healing today.
Correct.
And
Correct.
that's like a massive transition.
Massive. That little phraseology is massive. I never, again, we've talked about this before. Never ask how they're feeling ever. I've never met a practice member that had trouble telling me how they feel and symptoms anyway. So why would I evoke that conversation when I don't want to evoke that conversation? I want to get how they're healing. I don't want to talk about how they're feeling. So that little transition, that golden nugget that Fred talks about a lot. I mean, sometimes things will go over you and you're not grabbing it, but all of them are important. That one is just such a little nugget that you can do. It's a nut and bolt that you can apply in your practice. Like now, get rid of the, asking them how they're feeling, talk about how they're healing. That's that little shift. That's a better question. You get a better answer if they become a better patient.
Well, and let's handle some of the objections that some people might be thinking. Of course, if they're listening to this, they're probably fairly principled and it resonates to them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be listening to Chiro Mafia.
Yeah.
But, I want to, I don't know, we got to do subjective complaint. I don't know, whatever the reason is. But let's think about this. Does healing always feel well? Right? That's why I used to tell my patients, like,
not always.
Does healing feel good? No. Well, healing is fever. It's killing a virus. Does that feel good?
Right.
If you had food poisoning and you were throwing up and had diarrhea and a fever, does that feel good?
Right.
What if you ate poison and you didn't have that? What would happen?
Right.
You would die. What if you didn't get a fever? What would happen? You would die.
Exactly.
So does healing feel well? No. So why would I ask how you're feeling? I'm going to look and see if you're subluxated. That's going to tell me how you're healing. If you're toxic and you do a detox diet, how do you feel the first few days?
Right.
Terrible. Migraines.
Not good.
You can barely get out of bed.
Yes.
Your blown. How do you feel after you're not toxic anymore?
Right.
Your energy level's great. Metabolism's better. So that's the whole thing is when you say, let's see how you're healing, it's more objective. Because what am I doing? I'm looking at your posture, I'm palpating, or whatever your daily assessment is. And then you're seeing, are you subluxated? Because people go, Doc, I feel like shit. I've had them like, Doc, I'm sore, I'm this, I'm that, blah, blah, blah. And okay, let's see how you're healing. And I'm like, dude, we lit you up last time because your structure is straighter now. The spinal cord's working better now.
Correct.
So what do you automatically say? Hey, if I was a trainer and we started squats for the first time, how's your legs going to feel in 3 days?
Not good.
So are you going to complain that you suck? Or are you going to complain, Doc, we did something new? Man, was I sore? And that shows me how weak I am. We need to do more of those.
Yeah. You know what else it tells me? That was a damn good adjustment. And probably should have paid a little bit more for that on Wednesday. Hey, Lisa, could you double up on his payment this week?
Exactly.
Because I was obviously on fire on Wednesday. This guy got sore, and he got real sore. So we might even triple that, but we had 50% off on Wednesday. That's what I say to people.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, your neck and your lower back? You're feeling better there? Hey, Lisa, we got a double over here. His migraines and his lower are better. And you bet your allergies are better, too. That's triple. He's got to pay 3 times. So.
Yeah. Well, and even in the first adjustments, when people would say, I go, how'd your body respond? Not how did you feel?
Exactly.
I'd say, how'd your body respond? Doc, I feel amazing. I'm like, well, obviously I was way too easy on you, so we're going to hammer you today.
Yeah. So I know we're making jokes, but again, that's one of those little
literally
nuggets.
What we said, though.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, that's one of those little nuggets. Like people, I just want them to grab that. Like, how did your body respond versus, I gave you an adjustment. I called to see how you were feeling. No, I called to see how your body responded. I wanted to call to see how you're healing. Like, that's a different conversation. It's Absolutely. A different question. They look differently in their brain. They look deeper. There's more value to it. It's more global. It's more holistic. Like the value that they have, everything's different. Versus how you feeling? Well, I'm a little sore, or I'm not really sore. Like it's a different conversation, and better result, better patient. You lead them. One of the best lines I heard from one of my coaches way back when, he said, you train your patients to be great. You train them, you lead them to be great is what he was saying. You lead your patients to be great. So they don't walk in great because I'm a healthcare leader. So Fred walks in, I got to take him from where he's at fifth grade biology, doesn't care, never really gives any thought to his overall health. He just knows he doesn't like how he feels. I got to take him from that to the revelation, the realization, the reveal that their health comes from internal, that there's a force, there's an energy, that his body heals itself, and there's an impediment to that when the spine's crooked. And then I got to get him to care about it consistently all the time. Like that's the progression that you're leading people through if you're going to serve people and keep them under care for a lifetime. Any break in that lineup, they're not going to be there anymore.
No, you got to create the patience. You got to create an empowered person.
Yes, exactly. Yep, you lead them there, no doubt.
Yeah. So, God, there were so many one-liners and concepts that really, as you're listening to this and it's recorded, and you hear those one-liners, I would hit pause and I would write them down.
Yeah,
so I
write
would
it
go to
down.
a seminar.
Yeah.
I had a book of one-liners. Like, hey, how'd your body respond? And then, so I would look at the beginning of the day and I would look at my book of one-liners and I would pick one. And then I would look for places where I could insert that one line.
Yes.
And watch a person change, my baby. And then when I used it, then it became an experience and then I couldn't forget it.
Yes.
And so I would use it over and over. Like, I'm just looking, however many 100 or 150, whatever, or even 50 people that day. I'm just looking to insert that one line.
Yes.
If I did it 10 times that day, I got it.
Yes.
Then I would find another one and I would use it, watch a person shift. The experience would get it wired in my mind, and then it's in there. Now I have all these one-liners that I can apply in the right situation.
Yes.
And that shifts your mindset.
Yes, exactly.
That helps you shift their mindset.
Yes. We talk about, it's very similar. We do the one word a day, like pick one word a day that you're going to use in every conversation. Subluxation, nerve, brain, neurology, life, vital force. Like I'm going to use that word in every conversation. I'm going to say it every adjustment with everybody all day. And it changes everything. And it forces you to start thinking, how do I use this word in this conversation, as opposed to filler words, the discomfort. I don't know what to say. How's your family? How'd your vacation go? Like, oh my God, shoot me now. No.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
it's like a racehorse with blinders on. It keeps your focus.
Yeah.
Lifestyle is a very narrow focus.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget on how phenomenally valuable and great coaches we are until I actually start listening to both of us. I'm like, damn. How could you not be working with us? Holy
I did an interview.
It's like nugget after nugget.
Yeah, Miles Bodson, who started Cash Practice, right? He is a lifestyle guy through and through, right? And so it's like he interviewed me on a webinar about all this stuff and more.
Sure.
And I'm like, dude, I told him on the recording, I go, you, me, and Joe Borio are probably the only people, and every coach talks about retention, and then they use a 30-year-old model.
Yeah. Pain close. How do I close them on pain? Exactly.
Yeah. And so, Miss Jones, how's your back pain affect your life, right? And so, or get 5 injuries in 5 minutes,
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is just like, he's a guy that, and I think he got up to 1,000 a week or whatever, but with high retention.
Yeah.
Not with a shitload of new patients.
Dude, if you're banging out 500-600 a week or more, you're doing something awesome. You're doing something awesome.
10 new patients or less.
Yeah. Well, that's
right. I mean, if you have 25 new patients, you have 500 a week. That's a problem.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So like you got 5 new patients a week and you're doing 500 a week, you're doing it right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to have him on in 2 weeks, but
great.
I told him, man, these are 3 people that know how to get a patient into lifestyle on day 1.
Yeah. That's great. Love it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So check out the next episode. Anyway, man, we got to rock and roll. So
I got bored real quick. We got Boreal Boot Camp coming up May 2nd, Fort Lauderdale, B Resort Hotel. It's going to be awesome. It's a 1-day intensive. We go through our 6 most important days of practice. We've got a couple docs that are training with us as well as my staff. We come down, we break up in groups. We hit each day. We show you exactly how to do it. We give you the script on how to do it. We give the protocols how to do it. Then we handle every objection, every concern that you may have on it. And then we scenario train all 6 days. It's absolutely phenomenal. Then whoever shows up, we typically go out, have a few drinks, have some food, obviously Italian, and we make a great day out of it. So
yeah, that's so awesome, man. I love your events. I need to get back to them.
yes.
Elite has the boot camps coming up in Atlanta, June 6, 7, day 1. We're going to show you right from day 1, not only how to get a person to say this is their healthcare lifestyle for them and their family right on day 1, but how to give them purpose to create generational impact. So you're not just building a practice, you're creating a generational legacy with every person that walks in. So we're going to show you how to do that right from day 1. So go to Elite Coaching LLC, book a generational legacy call. Hey, we'll just talk about what your vision is, what you want to do. And hey, if we match, great. If not, all the power to you. We'll give you some great tips that will definitely help you build your practice. So
awesome.
So either way. So, all right. Always great.
Thanks, Fred.
Being with you, brother.
Rock on, you guys.
All right. Love you guys.
Like, share. Make sure, like, share, comment. Let's go.
Peace. Take care. Bye.